Alexis on fire.
Wolf Mother, Finger 11.
Anti-flag.
Lily Allen,
Chaos.
and you're watching the Adlercast.
How are you? Welcome to the Adlercast. My name is Brian Adler. I really like this interview with Anti-Flag, but I know it's going to piss some people off. There's some things that we talk about, American politics, that some people are not going to be very big fans of. Some people are going to stand up and cheer for, but others may not get it. If you're part of that second group, all I'm saying is I really hope that you can open up your mind just for a minute and try and absorb some of the things that they're saying, because I think they're pretty smart dudes, and I know they did their research. Anyway, here's the legal disclaimer. The following interview does not necessarily reflect the ideas, thoughts, or values of Adlercast Productions Incorporated or any of the websites currently hosting this video podcast. Not necessarily, but they might. Here's Anti-Flag. Talking about For Blood and Empire, I mean, this is a record that had a lot to say about things that were going on with your country, with the United States, and the war on terror and Iraq. Things, I mean, it's been a little while since you made the album. A lot of new things have happened. How are you feeling about the situation over there now?
Well, obviously we need an immediate pull out of Iraq, and asking for anything less, I think, right now is a mistake. Going into Iraq was a mistake. Every day we're there is a day longer that we're in a country, occupying a country where people don't want our troops. That's been made very clear by the Iraqi people. It's also another day that a soldier has to be put in harm's way. Iraq will never get on its feet while it has an occupying force in place that's pulling the strings behind the scenes and doing things that aren't in the best interest of the American or the Iraqi people. This invasion wasn't for the protection of the American people. It wasn't to liberate the Iraqi people from Saddam Hussein. What you need to do is follow the money trail. The money trail comes back to the multinational corporations who make the weapons, who have made so much money in oil profits, who have made so much money in construction projects. Halliburton, Lockheed Martin, Kellogg Brown and Root. That's what this war is really about. When you go to fight in Iraq, you're not going to fight for the freedom of America. You're going to fight for the enrichment of George Bush and his friends. And so that said, you know, we will not be happy until, first of all, there have been impeachment trials held for the president. I think there's certainly room for war tribunals to be held against for war crimes and people in government such as Paul Wolfowitz, George Bush, Don Rumsfeld, Dick Cheney, people high in the White House. So we won't be happy until those things happen, and of course until the troops are brought home, and of course until those troops and those people who are put in harm's way needlessly are taken care of. You see, what we've seen in the Bush administration is they've actually been cutting funding for troops who are coming home. They've been cutting medical funding. They've been cutting the funding that people need for psychological treatment after they've been put in these traumatic situations. And I think whenever you realize that that's going on, you realize that they don't care about these troops. For all the rhetoric that they put out there about caring about the troops, they really don't care about the troops. They don't support the troops. So these are all things that need to take place before we can feel good about the current situation in Iraq.
Judging by the approval ratings in the States right now about George Bush and what's been going on, it kind of seems like more and more people's opinions are going in that direction. Do you think that people get it? Are people opening their eyes to this thing?
Well, I think that's the interesting thing. I think the American people have realized that this policy is a failed policy, and I think that we just have the people in government who are still holding on to their failed ideas and haven't been willing to give up and accept that we need to bring the people home out of harm's way.
They're not going to let go of Iraq so easily. I mean, they went in for the oil in Iraq, and for them to say we're bringing the troops home, we're giving up, we're not going to establish permanent military bases in Iraq, that's them giving up their ultimate goal. And therefore, that's why they're holding on with every last fingernail that they have, even though it's been such a complete disaster and it's falling apart minute by minute. The name is misleading because you think, oh, depleted uranium, cool, man. This stuff's it's not dangerous anymore.
It's depleted, man. It's
exactly.
Depleted. It ain't real.
But unfortunately, it is. It's highly toxic. It's radioactive.